Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a super quick and easy homemade chocolate syrup. What you're going to need is a half a cup of water. You can double or triple this recipe if you want. A half a cup of cocoa powder, so that's the same amount of cocoa powder. You're going to need twice as much sugar, so this is going to call for a whole cup of sugar, but you can also substitute Splenda if you want. You're going to need some vanilla. For this recipe, we're just going to use a half of teaspoon of vanilla and a quarter teaspoon of salt. This is a pink Himalayan salt, which is really delicious. With the burner on high, you're just going to put the the half a cup of water. I can't figure this out today. The half a cup of water in the pot, and you're going to bring it to a boil.
What'd you say?
And while that's coming to a boil, in another bowl, you're going to take your half a cup of cocoa powder, which I use a level when I'm measuring this. I don't think you have to be as exact, but to me this reminds me of baking, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and use that. And the only reason I'm using a quarter cup measuring cup twice is because it fits better in that little container. Okay? So a half a cup of cocoa powder. And like I said, this could be Dutch processed cocoa. Basically, it's unsweetened cocoa powder. That is a Nestea container, but that's not actually Nestea cocoa powder in there. I bought it at bulk from Amish country, and I just keep using that container to keep it airtight. And then a full cup of sugar, so twice as much sugar, equal parts water and cocoa powder, and twice as much sugar. So 1 part water, 1 part cocoa powder, to 2 parts sugar. Now, like I said, you can make this with Splenda, which Splenda is equal parts as sugar, so it would be a cup of Splenda as well. And then I like to mix it with a whisk in the bowl while the water is boiling. Break up all those clumps of cocoa powder. You may have a cocoa powder that is not clumpy at all, even in the slightest, so this isn't necessary. This just helps make a nice smooth syrup. When I first learned how to make this, I didn't whisk it ahead of time. It used to have these like little clumps of chocolate in it, which is not objectionable at all. But you go ahead and you mix it ahead of time, and you can avoid that. All right, and then once your water comes to a boil, you're going to pour this concoction into the boiling water. And I just like to take my whisk and just keep stirring. It's not something that you have to worry about burning right away. I just keep stirring it so I can break up all of the little tiny bits of chocolate. And like I said, the first couple of times I made this, there were little specks of chocolate floating around in there, and like I said, it's not objectionable. If that is how yours comes out and that is objectionable to you, you can always run it through fine cheesecloth or something along those lines, like a real fine mesh strainer. But I find that it adds to its hominess. To me, you know, if you don't want homemade chocolate syrup, go buy a Hershey's. No, I'm just kidding. But what's really nice about this is that if you can afford to, you can use organic sugars, organic chocolate. You can use organic vanilla. So if you want to make it organic, you can. Super easy. It is only these ingredients, which is another thing. There's no preservatives. We refrigerate it. I've kept it in the refrigerator for months, like 6 months at a time. And it's been really good the whole time. I'm not saying that I can guarantee that's what's going to be, how many times you open your refrigerator, or whatever. But to me, it just stayed forever in the refrigerator. So I just keep whisking it the whole time that I'm boiling it, and we're going to bring it back to a boil. And as soon as it comes back to a boil, like a good rolling boil, then we're going to take it off the heat. And like I said, it's just a few minutes. So we go ahead and take it off the heat. And now we are going to stir in our quarter teaspoon of salt. So this is the Himalayan sea salt grinder. So if grinding bothers you, maybe plug your ears right now. But how this works is you grind it into the cap. And then I grind it a little too much because I had way more than I needed for salt. But I just go back and forth with it. This one is from Aldi, and it was very inexpensive. It was like $1.79. And I know that some people have picked up this at the Dollar Tree. So if you can get it at the Dollar Tree, good score. All right. And this is a quarter teaspoon of sea salt, of Himalayan pink salt going in there. And you can use regular table salt if you want. Just be mindful that if you use sea salt, it's a little bit stronger, okay? And Then we're going to put in a half a teaspoon of vanilla. So I'm just using this 1/4 teaspoon twice. And again, that's not an exact measurement. So this is basically really hot still. It's really at its boiling temperature. It's just not rolling right now because it just came off the stove. So I'm just going to give it a quick whisk to incorporate those 2 ingredients. You can see there how hot it is. And then that is it. And then put it in a mason jar. You don't have to put it in a mason jar. You could let it cool down and put it in something plastic. But just make sure you let it cool down all the way before you put it in something plastic. Like a recycled Hershey's bottle or a recycled ketchup bottle or whatever you want to put it in. But I love the way it looks in a mason jar. And I like to let it cool off before I cover it so that some of the steam can evaporate and it doesn't get watery. It gets nice and thick that way. If it does, when you make it, if you boiled it too long or boiled your water too long and it's very thick, you can just slowly add a little hot water to it just to come to the consistency you like. And if you do like it a little thicker, you can go ahead and reduce the water, mix in the stuff, and then when you're done, add water to make it like as thin as you want. Does that make sense? And that's it. I know, silly, right? It's like, why are we always buying stuff when we could be making this? So here's what it looks like after just an hour in the refrigerator. It's all nice and cooled off and thickened up a tiny bit. And now Jim gets to lick the drips off the jar because, you know, it's his anyway. But I just wanted to show you I'm serving it here with some strawberries. But it's great in chocolate milk, over ice cream, in cereal. However, my cousin Mikey used to take Cheerios and put chocolate syrup and milk. So basically he had cereal with chocolate milk every day. So cute. Hi, Mikey. And that's it. So I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. So yummy! And share with friends and family. Anybody you know might be interested in learning this recipe. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. When you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, you take care. God bless. See you next time. Bye.